Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So obviously it's just a bit of a general chat about what's happening in the news lately. So I saw this morning that Cheika survived. Yesterday was a public holiday here, or bank holiday, or whatever you want to call it. So we were relaxing. Actually, we weren't relaxing. We were painting. We've been painting our house. We've got friends coming over at the end of the year, and it seems like we only really work on the house when people are coming. So we've been painting, which is my worst job in the world, but the house is starting to look really nice, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, so it looks like Cheika survives for another day. But he's now going to be under a director of rugby. It looks like Larker maybe take the axe or dive on the grenade. But yeah, look, I still think it would be absolute suicide for him to not be the coach for the Rugby World Cup. So there's four games. Literally, there's 4 games before the fourth, maybe 5 games if they can organise it. Maybe if they can organise a few Super Rugby games. But there's 5 games to the World Cup, and that's it. But I was actually looking at the pools, and so obviously Australia on the pool with Wales, Fiji, I can't remember the other sides. And the winner and loser of their pool plays the winner and loser of Pool C. And then I was looking at that pool and I was going, well, if England win Pool C and Australia can win Pool D, so that if they can beat Wales, which I think would be a tall order, I think it might be way difficult for them to do. But if it's hard underfoot and it's not wet, maybe they can do it. It would mean that they'd face either France or Argentina in the next round, the quarterfinals, which would make them make the semi-finals. I'm not saying that France or Argentina can't beat them, but on their day, maybe Australia might be a little bit better. And they'd make the semi-finals, and then it'd give Cheika that. Say, well, he's done really well at the World Cup. He made the semi-final. He made the 3rd or 4th spot. Maybe they can win the 3rd, 4th spot, and they get a bronze medal. And then Cheika gets to survive another day. I try never be derogatory about players, about coaches. I just sometimes feel that maybe a coach is not the right fit. I don't think Cheika is the right fit for the Australian side. I don't think they've performed very, very well. And what's most important for Australian rugby? Is it the World Cup, or is it a successful Wallaby side year in and year out? For me, from a Southern Hemisphere point of view, we need a strong Australia. Australia needs to be a strong side. And what I don't understand is, they've got Israel Folau, David Pocock. They've got some exceptional players playing for them, and they just can't seem to put it out. On their starting 15, their top starting 15 could beat anyone on any day. It's the same team, barring a few players that beat New Zealand, not last year, the year before. And the one Bledisloe came here, it was a dead rubber game, but it's a win. So I think keeping him on now, it has to happen, but they must have it in their mind that they need to get him, need to find someone to replace him after the World Cup. Because if they make the semi-finals, which they might do, they might actually make the semi-finals. Is that a reflection of Cheika's that he's a good coach, or is it just a reflection of the way that they went through the pools, through the pool games, and the luck of the draw? Look, it's a World Cup. Everyone's going to be playing really well. It's just I'm just concerned that they make the semi-finals and then we get to sit with Cheika for another 2-3 years after that, getting 4 out of 12 victories. And yeah, it frustrates me a little bit that. It's similar kind of thing. I felt South African rugby started going down with Heineke Meyer, and then with Alex Tukutsi, it really went even further downhill. And I just don't know. I just think it's they bring in they get rid of the defense, the tech coach. They bring in a new director of rugby. So they're adding things and they're taking rid of things, but they're not really getting rid of the actual problem. Look, maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think of Cheika as a coach? Do you think he's the right fit for Australia? When I saw that ranting and raving at that halftime when they finally did beat Argentina, yeah, it worked. But do you really want to see that? These are grown men playing in a professional sport, and they have to be spoken that way just to perform. I don't know, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. But listen, guys, put down your opinion down below. The other thing I want to talk about is the Cockett eye gouge. They say he's up for a 4-year, could be up to a 4-year ban. I'm in two minds of it. At the end of the day, it's the guy's career. A 4-year ban does seem fairly excessive, but not for an eye gouge, if you know what I mean. It's you literally could blind someone. That's not only going to affect their rugby career; it's going to affect their career after rugby. So it's important to know. Does the punishment fit the crime? I think it does in that kind of situation, because an eye gouge, that's the kind of stuff we want to get out of rugby completely. We're not talking like the days where you have biting of ears and stuff like that. Those days are gone. But an eye gouge is just, I don't know, just not that Crockett's always been my favourite player. Even when he played for the Sahrks, he was never my favourite player. But yeah, what do you guys think of that? What do you think of an eye gouging, or that kind of real foul play? I think that's the highest level of foul play. Punching on the field is, you can understand the heat of the moment, but an eye gouge, that's literally destroying someone's life and career, even after rugby. And the amount of surgeries, and does the punishment fit the crime? Then the last thing I want to talk about, which is a pretty contentious subject in the Southern Hemisphere, is obviously the player drain. In South Africa, we've got pretty used to players leaving and never coming back, and now we've actually been in a situation where we've started being able to get back these players. But now that the floodgates have been opened, are we going to really start losing our real top players now? Even Etzebeth's going, but let's be honest. Even Etzebeth's 28. I think it's time for him to go overseas. I think there should be a 2-year window where the players should be allowed to go overseas, go make some money, because literally it's double the amount. These top Springboks can earn 2, maybe 3 times the amount of money that they could earn in South Africa. And so instead of having a 10-year career in South Africa, you could have a 30 true value. So I'd never let these players. That looks like the Dupree brothers are going. All three, the Dupree twins. I can't remember who's playing for Sailor. Is it Dan or it's Jean-Luc? I think it's Jean-Luc. And then Robert Dupree also going. But Robert Dupree, I can understand. There's just too many players in front of him for that number 10 position. Even at fullback, we've got players like Willemse. We've got Willie Leroux, Willemse. We've got who's my other favourite player? He'll come back to me. Warwick Hunt. So we've got the players in depth in that position. In 10, we've got Andre Pollard, Yankees. So Robert Dupree, I can fully understand that it's time for him to go. He's not going to earn that kind of money, but he can really earn really good money playing in Premiership. But the one that concerns me is the Jean-Luc. This is an exceptional Springbok. Yes, he had injuries at the wrong time, and there's other players that have come through to the fore. But but then I started reading on an article, and now they're talking sale on negotiations with. They didn't mention names, but they're talking a hooker, 2 props from South Africa. So you start going, well, if they're in negotiations for Malcolm Marx, that's a huge big loss to South African rugby. And the problem that I find is that Malcolm Marx is still young. He'll still have the opportunity to go play overseas from about 27, 28, round about there after this World Cup, maybe after the Lions tour. But these are the kind of players we shouldn't be losing. Peter Steff, and even though we've got the opportunity to get our players back from overseas, it's difficult to get them to play in the international window. Whereas if they're playing in South Africa, we'll have them for all those games. So losing a player like Frans Malherbe, Peter Steff, Malcolm Marx, it's not that we don't have access to them, it's just we don't have access to them easily, and we don't have access to them all the time. But yeah, like I said, I'm in two minds about this, because you never besmirch a guy for wanting to take care of his family. These guys have probably got young kids, young families. And you can't blame them for going for double or triple the money, but we need to be able to manage it a little bit better. I've got a feeling that Rusty must have done some negotiations with Steve Diamond. I think it's Steve Diamond from Sale, because I don't know. It just seems like he's got an in or something like that, because he seems to be getting access to some seriously top quality players. If they can sign a really decent prop or a decent, or maybe the hookers that they're looking as Bongi, I think is an exceptional hooker too. But who we're going to have to replace these players in the Super Rugby? So we're never ever going to have good players for our Super Rugby side. Maybe we can keep one side that's really good, like the Lions still pretty good. But it just seems like now that we are selecting the players from overseas, that now it's really going to open the floodgates and the players are going to go. I know there's talk that they'll always choose players from South Africa from a loyalty point of view. If you guys can watch, there was a show on multi-choice on Rusty. It was about a 2-hour just open, frank discussion about the year, about his views on transformation, the players that he chose, how he did for the year. Really, really good. And it's very, very seldom that you actually see a coach just lay it all out on the line. But yeah, what are your guys' views on the player drain? It's a reality. It's something we need to work around. It's something we need to improve on. But it also comes to, is it better? I hate to bring up this conversation, but is it better for us to have more South African teams playing in the Northern Hemisphere because we have access to those players? I don't think that. I don't think so at all. But because even if we had a Lions team playing in the Pro 14, they're still going to have the same problem, that they don't have the same amount of money that the other teams have because of the taking at the stadiums, the value of the rand as opposed to the pound. But yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of players on so many radars at the moment, and I just don't want the domestic Currie Cup and Super Rugby to suffer because all the players are going. So we need to come out of ways of giving the sabbaticals to the players that they go for, like a Malcolm Marx can go after the World Cup, go for a year, go for 2 years maybe, go play in Europe, go in some really, really good money, but try have a way of bringing him back, that you have an agreement with him in place that happens, or maybe start negotiating better with the international clubs, that you'll make available more South African players to that club, if to make sure that Malcolm Marx is available to play for all the international games. So it's trying to work with the systems out there. But yeah, what do you guys think of that? And I don't want it to be like, we're losing our players, because it's a reality, is they're going to go. The money's there. Can't besmirch them for doing it, but we need to figure out practical solutions of keeping them here. But listen, guys, those are my three big news items for the week. Just looking forward to a great festive season. Chat to you guys soon. Cheers, bye.